Indian man and the Chinese woman. Mr. Ramanan and Miss Xu were on the desk tonight, she said. They are both assistant managers. They both nodded at Inspector Zhang and smiled nervously. Ramanan was in his early 40s, and the girl appeared to be half his age. They both wore silver name badges and had matching neatly folded handkerchiefs in their top pockets. Inspector Zhang nodded back and then looked at the waiter. "And you are?" Inspector Zhang asked. "Mr. C.K. Chow," answered Miss Berghaus. "He delivered Mr. Wilkinson's room service order and discovered the body." The waiter nodded in agreement. Inspector Zhang looked around the room. "I see nobody," he said. Miss Berghaus pointed at a side door. "Through there," she said. "This is one of our suites. It has a sitting room and a separate bedroom." "Please be so good as to show me the deceased," said Inspector Zhang. The manager took the two detectives through to a large bedroom. The curtains were drawn and the lights were on. Lying on the king-size bed with his feet hanging over the edge was a naked man. It was a Westerner, a big man with a mountainous stomach and a pool of blood that had soaked into the sheet around his head. "Peter Wilkinson," said Miss Berghaus. "He is an American and one of our VIP guests. He stays at our hotel once a month. He owns a company that distributes plastic products in the United States, and he stays in Singapore en route to his factories in China." Inspector Zhang leant over the bed and peered at the body, nodding thoughtfully. He could see a puncture wound just under the chin, and the chest was covered with blood. "One wound," he said. "It appears to have ruptured a vein, but not the carotid artery, or there would have been much more blood spurting." He looked across at the sergeant. "Carotid blood spray is very distinctive," he said. "I think in this case we have venous bleeding. He would have taken a minute or so to bleed to death, whereas if the artery had been severed, death would have been almost instantaneous." The sergeant nodded and scribbled in her notebook. "Note the blood over the chest," continued the inspector. "That could only have happened if he was upright, so we can therefore deduce that he was standing up when he was stabbed, and that he then fell or was pushed back onto the bed." He walked around to look at the bedside table. On it was a wallet and a gold Rolex watch. Inspector Zhang took a ballpoint pen from his inside pocket and used it to flip open the wallet. Inside was a thick wad of notes and half a dozen credit cards, all gold or platinum. "I think we can safely rule out robbery as a motive," he said. Sergeant Lee scribbled in her notebook. Inspector Zhang walked back into the sitting room. Miss Berghaus and Sergeant Lee followed him. "So, what time did you discover the body?" Inspector Zhang asked the waiter. "About 10 o'clock, said the manager before the waiter could answer. "Mr. Chow called down to reception, and we came straight up." "By we, you mean the front desk staff?" "Myself, Mr. Mercier, Mr. Ramanan, and Miss Xu." Ramanan and Xu nodded at the inspector, but said nothing. Miss Xu looked over at the bedroom door fearfully, as if she expected the dead man to appear at any moment. Inspector Zhang nodded thoughtfully. "The corridor is covered by CCTV, of course." "Of course," said the manager. "Then I would first like to review the recording," said the inspector. "Mr. Mercier can take you down to our security room," said Miss Berghaus. "Excellent," said Inspector Zhang. He looked across at his sergeant. "Sergeant Lee, if you would stay here and take the details of everyone in the room, I will be back shortly. Make sure that nobody leaves and that the crime scene is not disturbed." "Shall I call in forensics, Inspector Zhang?" asked the sergeant. "Later, Sergeant Lee. First things first." Inspector Zhang and Mercier